Synthesis, we will be having two categories. One is the two position synthesis for the crank slider mechanism, and two position synthesis for the crank rocker mechanism. So let us take see this first case, wherein if we are having the crank slider mechanism, then how it is going to work. So by looking at this diagram, it becomes a little bit difficult to understand. Let us try this out in the software. Okay. So let us assume that we are having a crank of 50 mm. Okay, I'm going to draw a crank of 50 mm, and let us assume that we are having a connecting rod, say of 100 mm. Okay, just first draw this construction line over here. Okay, so I have this connecting rod which is of 100 mm. Okay, and let me also place a slider over here. Okay, so this is a slider. Okay, the next question now arises, uh, what would be the extreme right position of this slider? See, the slider can move towards the extreme right only when this crank and the connecting rod are along a straight line. That's the maximum possibility. Okay, so let us do that and check it out. I'll keep this hidden or in a construction manner. Now I'm going to draw the position of the same crank slider mechanism when the slider is going to move towards the extreme right position. So as I said, that can happen only when the crank and the connecting rod will come along the straight line. So let me draw first the crank, which is of 50 mm, and then let me draw the connecting rod, which is of 100 mm. Okay, so this is the position, and let me draw the slider over here. Okay. So this is the position of the crank slider mechanism when the slider can move towards the extreme right position. Is it clear? Okay. So let us assume that this crank, which is of 50 mm, I'm going to denote it by R2, and the connecting rod, which is 100 mm, let me denote it by R3. Okay. So having said this, okay, let me go to so let me draw that here so that I can explain in a better way. Okay, so whatever position is there, that I'm going to draw here. So this is the crank, okay, which is horizontal, and to this I'm going to connect the connecting rod over here, and let us place a slider over here. Okay, this is a slider. Now I want to know what is the distance between this fixed point and this slider position. So this distance I'm going to call it as R2 plus R3, right? Because they are along a straight line, so the distance between the fixed point and the slider becomes R2 plus R3. Let us go back to the software again. Now I want to see how will the mechanism look when the slider can come towards the extreme left position. So when will the slider come towards the extreme left position? When this crank will rotate in anti-clockwise or clockwise by 180 degrees and come towards the other side. At that time, the slider will move towards the extreme left side. So I'll Let us see if it animates here. I'll draw it with other colors. So the crank. Okay, let me change its color. So this is green in color now. Okay, I'll delete all the dimensions. And from this end of the crank, I'm going to draw the connecting rod, which was 100 mm. So that is green in color. So our slider will come exactly at this position. So I hope you have visualizing this. The crank is on the extreme left side, only then the slider will come towards the extreme left side. So this distance, that is from this point to this point. Can you see this distance here? This distance is going to tell us about the stroke length of that particular slider. That is, stroke length is from the minimum position to the maximum position. So it is going to reciprocate between these 2 points. Is it clear now? Let us write in the equation form here. So now the slider will, the crank will come at this position, and over this, the connecting rod will come up till here, and we have the slider. Now, can you guys tell me what is this distance in terms of R? What will be this distance?
R3 minus R2.
No, I think I have drawn it wrong. Your answer is correct, but I should have measured it from here, from this fixed link. Yeah. So this entire length is the connecting rod, that is R3, out of which I have to remove this R2 over here. So this length becomes R3 minus R2. Is it clear? And let me know if you have any doubts till this step. Okay. So no questions means no doubts. So we are clear with this terminologies. Now, what will be the stroke length equal to? This is the stroke length here. Let me draw it with other color. Okay. This is the stroke length. That means the distance between the slider extreme positions from left to right, whatever it's moving. This is the stroke length. So if I want to find the stroke length, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this equation 1 and equation number 2 and subtract them. That means I'll subtract equation 2 from equation 1. I'll automatically get this distance. So you can tell me what will be R2 plus R3 minus, in the bracket, R3 minus R2.
2R2.
Exactly. So this will come as 2R2. I'll repeat, this distance is nothing but R2 plus R3 minus this term, that is R3 minus R2. So R3 and R3 will get cancelled, and it will be R2 minus of minus R2. So it will be 2 times R2. So what logic we can understand from this explanation is the stroke length of a crank slider mechanism will be always equal to twice the length of the crank. Okay, that's what you can also verify in the software. This is the stroke length between two sliders, and I'm getting this as 100 mm because our crank length was 50 mm. So automatically this is 2 times R2, that is 2 into 50. What we are getting is 100. Okay. Now the question arises is how to synthesize any mechanism with respect to two position method for a crank slider mechanism. So you can synthesize only and only if we know either R2 or either R3 or either the stroke length. Okay, we need to know either of one values, based on which we can find out all the other remaining two values. Let us see how. Let me go this diagram here, which is available in the textbook. Just a minute. Okay, so what we are having is O2A is the crank R2, and they have shown some initial position of the slider as point B. So the slider will move towards the extreme right. That means it will come as B1. When it comes to B1, this radius they have mentioned it as R3 plus R2. That means the entire horizontal line will be R3 plus R2. Similarly, when the slider will come to B2 position, that is extremely left position, this arc they have mentioned it as R3 minus R2, as we have already discussed. And the stroke length between B1 and B2 will be getting it as 2 times R2. Okay, so now if I know the stroke length, let us assume that if stroke length is given as 100 mm, okay, if stroke length is given as 100 mm, then obviously I'll come to know what is R2, because stroke length is 2 times R2. So R2 I'm going to get it as 50 mm. So now I know R2 as 50 mm. So I can use this particular equation R3 plus R2, and I can just draw one random position of the slider. Okay, and that distance will be R3 plus R2, out of which R2 I am already knowing. I can automatically calculate R3. So if I know R3, I can find out the other position of the slider. So for this type of mechanism, which involves the slider crank two position, you don't have any numericals, because there's nothing to calculate here. If you have not understood this, let us just take one simple example and try to solve this. Okay, as I said, let us assume that the stroke length of the particular mechanism is 100 mm. Okay, if stroke length is 100, if stroke length is 100, then 100 will be equal to 2 times R2. So R2 I'm going to get it as 100 by 2, that is 50. So what I'm going to do is I will just draw this 50 mm length here. Okay. And okay, let us go back here. So I've got R2 position. I'm going to take one random location of say B1 or B2, whichever you want, you can choose. Let me take it as B1. I'll take a random position for B1. Okay. I'll draw horizontal only, 50 mm. This is the crank. Now what I'm going to do is random length. Okay, any length. Say I'm not specifying any length. I'm just going to use some random length, say of 148 mm, and that I'll assume that this is B1 position. Okay, the slider is over here. I have assumed B1 position at some random distance. So from the center of rotation to this B1, what it gives me is R3 plus R2. Let us measure it. From the center of rotation to the slider, this distance 198 is nothing but our R3 plus R2. So I'll just write down here. I've got R3 plus R2 equal to, it is 198. 198. So out of which you already know R2 value. R2 is 50. So R3 will be 148. So I got the value of R3 also as 148 mm. Once I get R3 as 148 mm, So I'll draw the second position. So once again, the crank will come over here, 50 mm, and R3 again from this to 148 mm over here. So this is your another position of the slider. Okay, so this is how we already synthesized. Now I know R3, I know R2, I can draw a general mechanism. Let us see how that general mechanism can come. Draw a crank 50 mm at any position and draw a line R3 which we have already calculated it as 148, and I can place it over here. Okay, you can draw a slider over here. So this is our mechanism which is required. 50 mm is R2 and R3 have calculated it as 148 mm. Let me know if you have any doubts in this. There are no numericals on this. It's only the theoretical concept. Just by knowing one value, that is either the stroke length or R2 or R3, we can determine all the other dimensions also. Do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, now comes the tricky part, because we have numericals on this. Let me post that here. Okay. So this is the diagram that they have drawn for the crank rocker mechanism. So now we are dealing with two position synthesis for crank rocker mechanism. You have numericals on this. So let us understand the theory behind this, how it works. See, in this diagram, what they have done is O2A is a crank, A to B is the connecting rod, and B to O4 is the output link. Okay, so let us see in software how this can be explained properly. Okay, so first I will draw a normal mechanism. So I will take 50. This is the connecting rod, and say this is the output link. This is the normal crank rocker mechanism. Now, can you tell me what will be the extreme right position of the rocker? Remember, this is the rocker here. Crank, I'm going to represent it as R2. Connecting rod, I'm going to represent it as R3. This is the rocker. So when will the rocker come towards the extreme left position? Obviously, whenever R2 and R3 becomes a straight line, okay, that means see, when I rotate it like this, they become a straight line. That is when you are going to get the extreme left position. Okay, so let me draw that extreme left position here. Okay, this distance, let me make it as 150. So I have this dimensions here. Crank is of crank of 50 mm, connecting rod of 150 mm, that is R2 and R3. So this is a general mechanism. Let me draw the extreme left position for this mechanism. So I'll just temporarily draw a circle here. Okay. I'll draw another circle over here to represent the rotation of crank. Okay. So I'm going to draw a line 50 mm over here. So you can draw it anywhere. And from here, I'm going to draw another line which will be 150 mm. So it is going to cut over here. Say I have maintained the dimensions. That means crank I've taken 50 only and connecting rod I've taken 150 only, and they are along the straight line. Let me check it once again. Okay, so this is the extreme left position. Let me draw the rocker position over here. So it comes somewhere over here. Okay, I'll delete the original mechanism that I had drawn. I don't want this now. Okay, so this is our extreme position. Okay, this step is clear. So this line I'm going to get it as R2 plus R3. Now let me draw one position of the output link. I'm not talking about the extreme right, but automatically you will end up in getting the extreme right. So when the rocker, it comes from B1 to B2. At that time, what will happen to the connecting rod and the crank? Let us see. So the connecting rod and the crank has to pass through the center, and from here it will come up till this point. Okay, let me know if you are having any doubts with up till this step, what I've done here. I'll change the color of this so that it will be more clear for you. Okay. So the green line indicates when the rocker is at the B2 position, and this blue line indicates when the rocker is at B1 position. Is it clear till this step?
Sir, the previous line that you drawn for the extreme right position, both are not in a straight line, sir.
I think,
Sir, use the constraint from the top, sir, like parallel constraint we can use.
but again the dimensions will change. So I was just drawing for the demonstration. Anyways, okay.
Okay.
Fine. So my objective of showing you this was from the extreme right to extreme left. When this rocker moves, the crank is moving from what angle? Let us see. See here, initially the crank was over here. Let me draw the point to explain it. The crank position was this. Okay, now when the rocker moves from this point to this point, the crank has rotated from here up till here. So whether this angle, is it more than 180 or less than 180?
More
So
than
it depends on direction of rotation. Like if it is rotated in clockwise direction, then it would be less than 180, right?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It is from B1 to B2 it is coming. At that time the crank is moving from this point. Obviously it has to move in the anti-clockwise, and in anti-clockwise it is coming to this position. So if it is moving in anti-clockwise, the angle will be more than 180 degrees, right? You can visualize this, right?
Yes, sir.
So in case, what is that more than 180? By how much angle it is more than 180? So that I need to find out. So for that, what I'm going to do is this initial position line, whatever is there, whichever highlighted, right? Initial crank position, I'll just extend it to the other side in this fashion. I'll hide these constraints and I'll make it as construction line. what I've done here, you can see initial position of the crank, I've just extended it on the other side. Now you can see that the crank has moved from this point up till here. If it comes up till here, then it is perfectly 180 degrees plus some additional angle it has moved. So this additional angle, whatever it is, if I call it as alpha, if I call this angle as alpha, then this alpha is nothing but, based on the basic geometry rule, this alpha will come here also. So the angle between these two lines, the angle between these two connecting links, and this angle is same. Are you getting it? Because this green line is a straight line and even this is a straight line. So using the basic geometries, this angle and this angle will be equal. So let me check here in this software. I don't know, because we have not drawn a straight line. So this is 7.8 degrees what I'm getting here, and angle between this and this, you can see here, this is also 7.8. I'll just show the dimensions. Can you see here? The angle between the two connecting rods or connecting link is 7.8, and this same angle it is 7.8. So now I can clearly say that the crank has moved from this position, this point, to this point by an angle of 180 degrees plus 7.8. You can check that also for your reference. I'll measure the angle from this point to this point. Okay. It's not taking here. It is taking the other way around. See here, this angle is 172, so obviously the outside angle will be more than 180, that is 187.8. I hope you are getting this point.
Yes, sir.
Now let us see how they have done it in the textbook point of view. The same thing, whatever I've told you. I'll use this. Okay. So initially O2A1, look at this O2A1. It is represented by R2 length, and A1B1, it is represented by R3. So you can see that O2A1 and A1B1 are along a straight line, that is the extreme right position. So it is represented as B1. Okay. Now when this output link, that is which is represented by R4, if of phi, that means phi is the range of the output angle. If it rotates by phi, then B1 will come from B1 to B2. Okay. When it comes to B2, what will happen to the crank and the connecting rod? So from B2, they have drawn a straight line passing through the center and up till this A2. So they have explained that when the output link moves from B1 to B2, the crank will move from A1 to A2 by an angle of psi. So this psi is obviously more than 180 degrees. And as I said, the angle between two connecting rods, that is A1B1 and A2B2, that they have represented by alpha. In our software, while I was doing, I got it as 7.8 degrees. Okay, is this clear? Now we need to understand something called as time ratio. The time ratio is given by angle of the rotation while it moves from B1 to B2 divided by the angle of rotation while it moves from B2 to B1. In simple words, it is the angle of rotation of forward stroke to the angle of rotation to the reverse stroke. Okay, that is known as time ratio. So let us see how that time ratio will affect this diagram here. Okay, let me draw it here only. So I'm going to represent the time ratio by Q. I want to now first check the angle of forward stroke. You can see in this diagram they have given it as psi when it moves from A1 to A2. So I'm going to write this as psi divided by angle of return stroke when it moves from A2 to A1. So this obviously I'm going to write it as 360 minus psi. Is it correct? Total rotation is 360, out of which forward stroke I know it is psi. Return stroke will be obviously 360 minus psi. Okay. Now I just want to understand what this psi is in terms of alpha. So for that, we know that this alpha is the angle between these two connecting rods. That is what is reflected here. And this total psi, angle from this line up to this line, so angle between these two lines. So this angle is 180 plus 7.8, which is alpha. So the angle psi is nothing but 180 plus alpha. So that's what we can see here also. So let me extend this line for your understanding. So this is the straight line over here. That is O2A1 I have extended on the other side. So from O2A1 up to this angle is 180. And this remaining angle is alpha here. So total psi will be equal to 180 plus alpha. So the same thing I'm going to write now. Psi I'm going to write it as 180 plus alpha divided by, can you calculate and tell me what is this? 360 minus psi. Psi is 180 plus alpha. So it will be 180 minus alpha totally answer. So I'm going to get the time ratio as 180 plus alpha divided by 180 minus alpha. This is the only equation that we'll be using in this two position synthesis to solve the problem or to synthesize the mechanism. This is the only equation. And the problem statement would be very simple. Synthesize a crank rocker mechanism when alpha is equal to 20 degrees or alpha is equal to 18 degrees or whatever. So they will be giving you only the value of alpha, or they'll be giving you only the value of Q, based on which we are supposed to construct this entire mechanism. I hope this concept is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Even if you are having some doubts or some ambiguity, need not worry, because when we solve the problem, this diagram itself will become more clear to you. Okay, and you can solve it yourself even without referring any books. So if you just need to solve one or two problems, then you'll get this confidence to draw the sketch and give the explanation for this. Okay, I hope all of you are having the book with you, textbook with you. If not, I'll be sharing you this page. So whatever diagram is there, the same diagram is shown over here, and they have given the explanation of whatever I said just now. The same explanation is given, that is for two position synthesis of crank rocker. So this is where we have stopped now. Q is equal to 180 plus alpha upon 180 minus alpha. So if anyone is not in textbook, I shall share this particular.
Yes, please share, sir.
Yeah, so that you can come to know. And also this is the one which I explained at the beginning. Okay, so for the crank rocker, how it is minimum and maximum, and the simple explanation for this. Remember, for crank slider, this is the only explanation. There is no equation, no numericals. Okay, and I also share this one page wherein they have explained you how the construction has to be done for this crank rocker. So they have taken example and shown the construction. So these three pages I'll be sharing it with you guys. You can refer them as the notes, and in the next class we'll take up the problems. Okay. So if you don't have any doubts, just a minute, let me take the attendance, then you can leave the class. Okay, done. If you don't have any doubts, you can leave the class. Thank you.